You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Let's talk about a story, folks, out of Houston, and that is the Turkey Leg Hut. A lawsuit filed against the Turkey Leg Hut in Houston over its smokers has been suspended. The legal battle that has been going on for the past couple of weeks ended with the plaintiff saying they will not pursue further legal action for now. Why is that the case? Joining me now to talk about this, the co-founders of Turkey Leg Hut, Nakia and Lynn Price. How y'all doing?
Doing well. How are you?
All right. So here's the deal. So all of a sudden they're dropping their suit. Is it all because y'all got the hands, and your lawyers did, on that email that they sent out where they even stated what their real reason for why they were trying to shut y'all down?
I believe that their initial shock value was the fact that, they caught us off guard.
Hold on one second. I'm having some audio issues. The audio dropped out there. All right, guys, let me know if we have the audio back. Okay, keep talking. All right, so do we have the audio, guys? Okay, all right, so not quite sure what happened with the audio there. Yeah, I can't hear you guys on your end. So do this here in the control room. If y'all could work this out, and then we'll go right back to them. And so, folks, so let me unpack this here, okay? The Turkey Leg Hut opened in Houston about 3 years ago along a road called Alameda Road in Houston's 3rd Ward. Now, this is, of course, a historic black neighborhood where Texas Southern University is, my high school, Jack Case High School. It is one of the most historic black neighborhoods in the city of Houston. So they opened this restaurant, and on this road, Alameda Road, were a lot of black businesses located. KCOH Radio, longtime voice of black Houston, located on that street as well. Turkey Leg Hut then opens, and it takes off. People are sitting there, going there, and getting their turkey legs. Unbelievable response from the public. Well, then in that particular area, Gentrifiers moved in. It's near the Texas Medical Center. It's near downtown. And so what then happens is they start complaining about the owners of the Turkey Leg Hut. They complain about the traffic. They complain about the noise. They were complaining, saying the smoke from their smokers. Thousands of people. You go to the Turkey Leg Hut, folks, I'm talking about the line is sometimes folks waiting 1-2 hours to get in. Hugely popular, okay? So then, of course, they open up a place called Daiquiri Hut. Oh, they didn't like that. They complained about people parking, and so the owners bought literally several parking lots nearby to accommodate the traffic. Still not good enough. And so you have a residential neighborhood that's literally right next to the restaurant. Now, Houston has no zoning laws. That means in Houston, hell, you could build a restaurant and have a big house right next to it. That's what you actually have there in the city of Houston. So these folks moved in and then began to complain, trying to shut this restaurant down. Now, I think we got the owners back. So, want to check with your audio? You got me?
We can hear you.
There
can
you
you
go.
hear us?
Okay, cool. All right. So you were making a point again. They were coming at y'all, throwing all these different reasons out. But this email, they wrote in the email that the intent was to get y'all off, quote, our corner.
Wow.
That's correct. But that could not be the stated goal.
Right. And they said in the email, we can't say that, but that's the goal.
Correct.
What was the response from the community? Because obviously, this restaurant is hugely popular. In terms of what was that response as well, what they were trying to do to y'all? Because they initially got an injunction where you couldn't use your smokers from what, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
That's correct. Yes. So the initial, temporary restraining order was we couldn't use the smokers from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. Thereafter, we filed, when we received that email is when we filed an emergency hearing for the restraining order to be lifted. And during that time, they raised the bond. So the bond went from $500 to $24,000. And then they lifted the hours of operation from when we could smoke turkey legs. And they only did it from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for those hours of 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then what happened is that they did not come up with the $24,000 bond. And so because they didn't come out with the $24,000 bond, the restraining order was null and void.
Lynn, first of all, with a lot of people, again, not understanding, that essentially what y'all were dealing with is what black people are now dealing with all across this country.
On a daily.
We've seen this in Oakland. We've seen this in Harlem. We've seen this in Chicago, in I mean, all these areas where black people have lived for decades. Customs, things doing. All of a sudden, white folks move in. I mean, you had, hell, here in D.C., y'all turned the go-go music down. Then you had some white folks who moved in next to Howard University and literally said, they should turn this into a park so we can walk our dogs.
Yep.
I mean, so this, what y'all experience is what black business owners are experiencing nationwide.
Almost normality now. It's crazy.
It is. It's first of all, I think it's beyond crazy, and you've had to spend thousands of dollars on lawyers to fight this as well.
Beyond thousands, and it's crazy, man.
And so what is next? Do y'all expect them to retool and possibly come after you again?
I think at this point in time, I think they're a little embarrassed about that email coming out and us knowing their ultimate goal. I think at some point in time, it's always been something since we've been here. So they couldn't get us with the noise, they couldn't get us with the parking, and so you came up with the smoke. So my question is that if and when you come back, what will it be what will it be for this time or next time?
And of course, as a part of that, y'all have taken action to address some of the issues. Of course, y'all have bought a number of parking lots in this area as well. And so, seven?
Yeah.
7.
And so, anything y'all plan on doing moving forward to still address some of these issues when it comes to smoke or whatever? So, what are your plans?
So the plan is and the plan has always been to enclose the pits. The pit area that as it stands right now, they were built to the health department specifications, and then when they started to receive complaints, then what we had built wasn't good enough, and so now it's they want it fully enclosed, whereas before it was fine just the way that it is. That's how we've been in business for 2 years without something like this happening. And so the plan going forward is to do like we said we were going to do, which is enclose the pits, fully enclose the pits, have the exhaust fans put in, and that's really it. I mean, the smoke has to go someplace, so it's still going to go up, but it's just going to have a different, I guess, exhaust fans and how you redirect the smoke.
From a community standpoint, have y'all been pleased with how black folks have rallied around y'all? And look, and a lot of your white customers too.
Yeah, look, I got, they got a muzzle on my mouth, so I can't say too much, so can't say what I really want to say. I told them my exact words verbatim, how you start off your show. They don't want it like Washington on Alameda. Did you hear me?
I heard you.
They don't want it like Washington on Alameda, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So we're gonna let the attorneys take care of it, because that's my standpoint. Y'all want 50,000 people on Alameda with their hands in the air. So they don't want that.
But the community has been awesome. They've been awesome. Good. The support that we receive has been it's been unreal. It's crazy to know that we have that many people who stand behind us and what we're trying to do, and at every turn.
We have 14,000 reposts in one day on We Support Turkey Leg. Had 14,000 reposts, and that's not even all the ones I saw. Those are the ones we just saw on our page. But like I tell everybody, it's not like it's different strokes of wood that you can use for barbecue pits. And if you really a barbecue pit master or you really cook in your backyard, certain woods give off certain smoke. We use the best of the best mesquite. Mesquite is a heat wood. It's nothing that has large, abundance of smoke out there. Pecan does a different flavor, but we use mesquite, the same wood that the average person uses in their pit on the daily. So, this is just crazy to think that you would say it's toxic, on any level,
And obviously, I'm showing some video right now when I was, of course, at your place in September. That's why I look. It's way too much food. That's why I couldn't get any. I purposely did not get any when I came by for Thanksgiving. I gotta spread that stuff out over the course. Yeah, he's like, fix you something. No, I'm good. I'm going home. I'm going home and get a salad. I'm going home. Not gonna do it. I'm trying, Cleo. I'm trying to tell you. Okay, all right, Cleo. Go to Houston.
It's very real, Cleo.
I'm trying to tell you, Cleo.
I've been to Houston.
Okay, no, Cleo, you been to Houston, but you ain't been to Turkey Leg Hut.
No, I haven't.
I'm trying to tell you, Cleo.
But I'm going.
Okay,
Cleo,
all right.
Cleo, what rock you been under? You ain't been to Turkey Leg Hut.
Rocked us on the East Coast.
Right. They know about it. Trust me, they know about it down there.
Absolutely. And so, look, it has been, again, it's been a battle. I really do believe that, again, I make this point, that the reason we really cover this story as well, because we've been covering this. This thing happened in Oakland, where a black church, they had choir rehearsal. Inside the church, white guy calls the cops and said they making too much noise.
Wow.
Meanwhile,
And wanted choir rehearsal shut down because he felt they were making too much noise.
Roland, what y'all don't know is that you hear about the smoke, but you don't even understand how this has been ongoing. Like the harassment that we've received from everything has been crazy. I think, we had the police called on us about a dog barking.
No, not even that. The distributor that brings our wood at 12 o'clock at night, somebody called him out because he was unloading the wood in the back on a pallet, and they said it was making too much noise. Wood.
Yeah. It's crazy. We haven't even, we haven't divulged everything that we've been through because I feel like, at the end of the day, God has our back. But it's been a roller coaster, to say the least.
Yeah, they don't know I'm ready to ride it. I like roller coasters. I love it. This is legit. Put me in the front row. Let's ride.
Well, we certainly are glad to see how this ended up, but I'm quite sure they'll be back. And so, Nakia and Lynn, good luck and continue with the success with Turkey Leg Hut.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. Go to my panel here. Again, this is what they have had to deal with. Again, is exactly what black people are confronting all across this country. Here in D.C., Shiloh Baptist Church, they are trying to get them to move, saying, look, the parking on Sundays is just too much. I mean, white folks are moving into traditionally black neighborhoods in Harlem, where they have been beating on the drums for decades. Oh, no, there's too much noise. Y'all can't be playing drums on Sundays.
Roland, I secured some property in Baltimore that's right next door to a well-known white-run restaurant. That's what I will say. And while we were doing renovations, somebody called the police to stop us from what we were doing and to check to see if we had permits. Luckily, we had permits, but I asked the cops, who called? What we found out was that the people next door wanted to buy our building to expand, and they were mad at me. I'm just breathing in and out, buying property. I'm not trying to mess with nobody, but they took it personally that I bought the property. So I went in their restaurant one time just to check it out, and they said I couldn't come in. I was not allowed in the restaurant.
What?
So I know what they talk about. I know how white folks can be when they want to control an environment, and black people won't let them do it.
When it comes to racism, there's always an element of jealousy that we often don't talk about. You look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, where you had that thriving community, it was ultimately burned down, where there were banks, prosperous schools, hospitals,
everything.
You name it. It was a prosperous community.
A bus system.
Exactly, which was ultimately burned down over a frivolous allegation. And what it boils down to ultimately was jealousy.
But see, jealousy is
not wanting to see
jealousy is a neutral word.
people,
It ain't just jealousy. It's
thriving.
black people defying the myth of their superiority in their face.
Yeah.
And they're emotionally invested in the myth of their superiority. And that's why Trump is president, because Obama and Michelle defy the myth of their superiority, and they said we got to fix this and bring a fool in here to change that trajectory. And it's not just as innocent as the term jealousy. There's other stuff
of course,
in here.
It's a lot more nuanced.
You don't
than
murder
that.
and kill people
but there
just
is,
'cause
but
you're
there is,
jealous.
there is an element of jealousy
Yeah.
when it comes to racism and white supremacy.
But the thing here
of
is,
course, I know there is other nuances.
the thing here is, Avis, and of course I got my hands on the email. They literally said, we want them off our
Yep.
corn.
Well, colonizers be colonizing. Okay, that's really.
Is that what they be?
They be colonizing. Okay, colonizers be colonizing. That's what happened there. It's this sense of it's ours.
You don't belong.
It's this. I'm here, so now everything is mine. It's this Columbus syndrome, right? That once they're there, they've discovered it, and it's now theirs, and they can now tell other people what to do and what not to do. It is, I would be interesting to see what sort of mental illness is that, right? Because I see that as some sort of mass illusion, like you've mentioned, this issue of this false sense of superiority, but there's also this huge sense of entitlement that seems to be embedded in a culture that thinks that just because they can come to a space 50 years, 100 years, how many years late, that all of a sudden everyone and everything has to bend to their will. Once again, colonizers be colonizing. They've been doing it for centuries, and they're doing it now.
In the case of Turkey Leg restaurant, what was meant to harm them actually has, in a sense, helped their business. Because I knew nothing about Turkey Leg until this story came out.
And now I want to go.
I want to go up and water the whole time.
I want to visit them, but what's happening is when it comes to gentrification is, as we all have said, you have folks going into communities that have established traditions and cultures and norms, and they want to change it overnight, and it doesn't work that way. And I also understand, like, if you purchase a piece of property anywhere, you want to protect that investment. I get it. You want the cost of your property to rise, not to decrease. But you cannot think that you can enter a community that has norms and cultural practices to just change it overnight. I think that is problematic.
No, not them.
Yeah.
But
people,
that is what we have seen.
Yeah.
These people have the mentality of a serial killer. A serial killer is not concerned about the reality of your reality. They subjectively want what they want, and they'll do anything, even if it leads to murder and ending of your life, or in this business, ending of your existence or your business, to get what they want. And often, and I'm being redundant to make a point, serial killers are driven by a psychopathological inferiority complex. And these people, in my opinion, have an inferiority complex. Black people bring an energy, a majesty, an artistry, a cultural stamp, and something that nobody else brings. And I think it raises anxiety around inferiority complexes in these people. So they overdo everything, including gentrification and scorched earth, because they have to compensate for just being white and mediocre around the magnificence of a lot of black people. They can't handle it.
I would be curious to see, as these communities are becoming more and more gentrified, if there is training in place for buyers to understand the norms and the cultural practices of these respective communities.
That's what we need to do. We need to value black communities.
That is true. That is true. But unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic society where money talks, right? Let's just be honest.
Yeah, but
vision talks.
No. But this whole idea of training, let's just be real clear, okay? When it comes to these folks here, they ain't trying to be trained.
That's true.
That's right.
Okay, we said the same thing about cops. We ain't got to be trained to deal with white folks.
Thank you.
It's called common damn sense.
Well, one of the things that
and that's the problem here. And what's bothersome here, and look, I'm telling you, I'm from there. When I say hugely popular, thousands of people coming through each week. Yet in Austin, where they have that popular barbecue restaurant, you don't see folks saying, let's shut them down. See, so the problem is not, it's hugely popular. It's black. And it's black folks who are coming through there. And it's black folks who are sitting here. I can take you to Montrose, which is a largely gay area in Houston. They got bars, clubs, they got parking issues, they got folks drinking. I can go to the Heights, I can go to all kinds of different places here. But this is different. because also this is historic third ward that they now want to call like, when I say understand how they're doing it, University of Houston, just understand University of Houston's in third ward, okay? Like literally, if this is TSU, University of Houston is 2 blocks that way. My high school is right across the street. Do you know what they call that place? University Place.
Well,
okay, Scott Street, University of Houston, Yates, TSU. Y'all in third ward. What they've tried to do, where this area is, even rename it. They tried to rename Harlem. So that's also the deal. So the deal, see, this thing goes deeper. This ain't about training.
That's right.
What they want to do is they want to completely eradicate all sense of blackness.
Like locusts.
So we gonna rename this place. We gonna move all the folks out who were here. You go to Miami. Read Luther Campbell's book. And when you go to a basketball game in Miami, you are on hallowed ground that black folks, Bahamians, built. They moved all those black folks off of what is now downtown Miami and pushed them into Liberty City.
Let's get back.
That's why they say
let's get to
our corner.
Let's get back to what black people can do about this.
Well, one of the
because a moment I said to you a moment ago that we need to value black communities and do a pushback on gentrification.
We do.
And you mentioned that this is a capitalist country, but let me tell you what the brother did who owned the building that we have in Baltimore. A lot of people want that building because it's in a prime area, and he.
While y'all talking, I'm showing some of the food in Turkey Leg Hut.
Okay,
but y'all go ahead.
The brother,
don't do that. I'm hungry.
Who's pro-black and Afrocentric, who owned the building, maybe I'm saying too much. Well, I'm speaking code. He wanted somebody. I don't know how do I say this over here. Okay,
just say it.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. There were all kinds of people who don't look like us, who were trying to secure that property because it's a prime piece of property, and he needed to sell it, but he waited. And when you walk in there, you saw the final call. You saw Malcolm on the wall. I mean, I knew this was a black man who owned this place. Right. And he held out, and he was literally in tears when I told him that I was going to build a black wellness and cultural center in the same space that you've been blackened, because he's a civil rights. He's a person. Okay, I don't want to give too much of his. We got you. But the bottom line is that he held out, which he was strategically held out to somebody black, was able to come along and secure that building, and we can do that.
I do understand that the need to preserve our black communities
and value them.
I do get that, but at the end of the day, when you have someone who can barely make their mortgage, see, this person you just talked about is probably is very privileged to where they were able to hold out. The average person can't hold out. You come to someone, you say, I'm giving you $100,000 for a house that may be worth like $2-3 million 2 years down the line. They're probably going to take it and move on, right? Because the average person just does not have the luxury to just hold out.
Super quick solution. When I first moved to DC as a graduate student, I lived in a cooperative. It was a community land trust that had purchased the land that property lived on because they saw at the time that this part of the city was flipping. This was around the U Street area before it's now what it is today, right? And so they purchased that land to suppress it, to make sure that housing there was still affordable. I bought into that cooperative as a graduate student. To this day, completely black-filled building in an otherwise white community. So what I'm saying is that we need to think of creative ways that we can hold on to property and maintain some level of blackness in our community.
And here's the piece. The reason they were able to afford to fight the lawsuit, because black folks supported them.
Yes.
That's why. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. As the marijuana momentum continues, our good friends at marijuanastock.org have already reached more than half their funding goal for the hemp CBD investment. If you want to take advantage of the great opportunity, you need to do it now because it won't last much longer. Of course, I'm talking about the hemp plant, the good cousin to marijuana, with a much higher concentration of CBD. That means hemp gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Also, if you don't know, hemp farming is now legal in the United States, creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. Folks, it's an opportunity for you to invest. And that's where the folks at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and leases it to licensed high-paying tenants. They're essentially hemp CBD landlords, so you could get in on the action. Now, hemp continues to change the economic landscape. 420 Real Estate is allowing you to chase the American dream. You can invest as little as $200 up to $10,000 as part of their crowdfunding campaign. And you must do it, of course, before the fund is closed. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and get in the game now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.